My name is Catherine Patterson. I have designed an innovative cot bed for babies, further to the problems that I experienced with my baby daughter in her traditional wooden bed cot. I'm a bit of an accidental entrepreneur in many respects. What I love about it is you never know what each day is going to bring. For me, it's that sense of opportunity and potential. It makes me feel immensely proud, actually, that I've done this. It's a sense of empowerment. It's a sense of look at what I've done and look what the potential is for this business and how it can help. My daughter was born in 2009. At about 6 months old, she started to bump herself on her cot. I did some research, tried to find out what alternatives there were, putting her in a travel cot, but they're not durable. I bought cot bumpers. As a mother, you do the most oddest things. I actually read the small print on the instructions and it said, do not use when your child can sit unaided because there's a danger of strangulation and suffocation. And I just thought that was utterly bonkers. That was my moment, and I got out a tea towel, some pencils, and I sat down that night and I made a model of what I wanted a cot bed to be. And I can remember sitting there, sewing it, thinking, what am I doing? If there is a eureka moment, that was the one. From there on in, I was on an absolute mission to get this out there and to find an alternative solution to what was on the market. Sometimes I've sat there at my desk and thought it'd be really good just to bounce this idea off somebody who's independent from me. Steve's got a really good business model. You've got multiple channels to access the support that he gives. What I absolutely love about it is it's something tailored for someone like me that doesn't require a massive amount of time, but where the resources are there to dip in when you need it. It just reinforces the learning and just motivates you to just to carry on and to think about things in a slightly different way. My first true sign of success will be that first order or sale of Care Cot. That will be bells ringing, champagne corks popping. It will be amazing when that happens. Thereafter, more orders, more sales, more babies sleeping safely and soundly.
Hello and good morning. It's Friday the 4th of November. Where has this year gone? And also, if you live in the northeast of England like I do, it was also very cold and icy this morning, so actually I had to get out the ice scraper for the car. But welcome, it's 8:37 here in the UK. We have something called a Roadmap MBA, which is a real world business course, which is in 34 different countries now worldwide. And what we look to do is basically build an accessible platform for people all around the world that want to build a better life for themselves. That basically, it's our belief that you shouldn't ever be held back through not having the information that you need to really help build a better life for yourself. So one of the things that we look to do is basically provide free business education to the world in a way that we're looking to make business education accessible to 5 billion people. And there's lots of different ways that we're looking to do that, but the live stream is just one of them, which gives us the platform. And you might have seen some of our other presenters as well. So you've got Iffy, Annie, and also Ashley. And basically what we do is we talk about relevant concepts every week and stuff that might have happened in the news. So we had the recent, what was I going to say? It's like the government change, the budget, the impact on mortgage rates and inflation and that kind of thing. Ashley often talks about neurodiversity and different issues as well. But the whole point is that it's a real live interactive platform that if you comment, it should pop up on screen. And then what I also tend to do is, because I'm the founder of this kind of business, that I also share some of the stuff that we've done this week as well, in a way that people often only ever kind of talk about the good stuff that they've done, when actually in practice, running a business is really tough, that so much stuff happens good and bad, that I tend to kind of talk about it just to kind of help you and follow with you on the journey as we kind of go through as well. So big one I'm going to talk about this week. So the latest issue of Freelancer magazine came out. You might have actually seen Angela Lyons was a guest on our podcast last week. Really fabulous lady. She actually helped me out with something yesterday. But one of the things that we do when we basically advertise, we have a double page spread in the magazine. It's to really help engage and work with and learn from basically the freelancer community that basically, you know, we're here to help people that want to grow and start their own business. And often when you first start, it is just you. So therefore, often most people are a freelancer by kind of necessity. And what we're looking to do is help just, you know, share the skills and tools and techniques and stuff, which are important and will definitely help them kind of grow and develop. Because the truth is, it is really difficult to run and grow a business, that actually it's harder than people think. And one of the big things that you often get with social media is that people always think, well, actually everyone else seems to be doing so well. Why is it just me? Why am I struggling? And that's often not the case. So especially with the cost of living increase at the moment, you've got energy bills, you've got inflation, you've got mortgage payments, you've got loads of different kind of stuff, plus the potential for clients to cut back on spend just because worried about a potential recession. It's a tough time out there, so we wanted to really kind of acknowledge that, and that's part of the reason why we're trying to get involved and work with that community. And everyone, and likewise if you ever tune into any of these, if you go to www.roadmapmba.com or reach out, send me a DM, we'll happily send you a free course anywhere in the world as well. Relating to this, although we haven't gone proper public yet, is that basically our new website launched on Monday. So I used a company called Bloom, who are based here in Newcastle near the Ousburn, and especially a guy called Johnny, who's the main kind of developer. I've done a really, really fabulous job with it. And the thing that is really important for me as a business is that historically until last week, what had happened is that I finished the book a while ago, but the website that we had, I built on Wix and I built myself, and there was nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't great. It wasn't the best website in the world. And one of the issues with our mission is I have a map over there, which is all the countries that we've sent stuff to. But basically it was all about the physical posting of the packs to people around the world, which we still do, and that's cool. But you can't do that for 1 billion people because I don't have 50 billion pounds to spend to kind of just do it all for free. And it's the scalable platform. It's what that allows us to do. It's just massive. So we've done a bit of a soft launch. I haven't actually posted about it on social media yet, but if you check this out, you're one of the cool kids and you can go and have a play. And yes, there's a free account, so you'll see on some of the pricing tiers. What we always wanted to do was give completely free business education out to the world, which we've now done. And if you go for one of the free tiers, you don't get worse information, which was really important to me. But the paid tiers get some carbon offset, they get the physical book, you get the live classroom sessions, which is where people can jump on and we talk about stuff. I think realistically in the first year, I'll probably let people join the live classroom sessions anyway, because it's that taster and it's what I want to kind of do. But the principle is it's a really big step forward, and it's realistically taken 9 months or something to get to this point. But I'm really proud of it, and it's something that we're really looking to grow on and develop. And at some point, maybe in a few weeks, I'll do a public launch where basically I'll shout about it and people can kind of go on. And the other thing that you might see on the screen, which is over here, is that I am hopefully, well, basically, how did it happen? So I got introduced to a few guys from an organization called Purple Sock Day, or Parallel Lifestyles. And basically with this week, there was something called Purple Tuesday, which I'm going to talk about as well. But basically it's a really fantastic organization looking to raise money for disabled owned or related businesses. I bought 24 pairs of socks. So I'm going to do a giveaway soon to basically raise awareness and also, you know, stuff which is all good for the kind of charity. I'm actually going to talk about that in a little bit. But basically the graphic, which you can see here, there's a link in the comments if you're interested, you want to go and check it out, if you want to buy some socks. They're from a company called BAM. They're made out of bamboo. They're really cool. They're £6 each. And yet half of the profit goes to really good causes. So kind of check it out as well. And on my live streams, probably until December or so, you'll see that pop up and kind of stay there as well. Okay. And last but not least, you can also follow us on Instagram. So we broadcast on lots of different platforms in lots of different ways, which makes it more difficult for me to actually kind of manage and do. But it's also, I think, more important just to kind of, again, be accessible in different places. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on to talk about something called Purple Tuesday. But before I do that, I'm going to play a quick video. Hopefully it works. Then I'm going to go into talk about it. So, boop.
We're here today at Piccadilly Lights to launch Purple Tuesday, a really important initiative around improving the disabled experience. And we're here with 15 sector partners that shows that disability is about all sectors, all organisations of all sizes.
Purple Tuesday is so important to us because our purpose is all about economic empowerment at eBay, and accessibility is absolutely essential to that. We've made huge strides over the last 12 years in making sure that our platform is accessible to customers, whatever their needs, but it's a never-ending battle, and we need to ensure that we continue to support it. Purple Tuesday is always about making those small changes that can make massive impact and changes to our customers and those who need it. We've got 29 million buyers and sellers in the UK, and we're so proud of the things that we can do to make sure that it is an amazing customer experience for every single one of them.
This is Purple Tuesday, but it's also a recognition about what we do 365 days a year to improve disabled people's customer experience.
There we go. So yes, something that I wanted to talk about is called Purple Tuesday. So Purple Tuesday is a global initiative to really help raise awareness with businesses and organizations to really actually improve awareness and access to the basically different communities around the world. And basically what they do and what they did actually on Tuesday, it was a really big push. There was some really good lights. I got that video kindly from kind of YouTube. Is actually just to raise awareness of the benefits and the huge communities out there that often are excluded from access to stuff, either through physical barriers. You know, we've all been through a lot of the issues where, you know, if somewhere doesn't have disabled access, a ramp or a lift, but actually on the internet, web access and web accessibility is a really big thing that we've been pushing hard on with the roadmap, and you'll see on the new website. But actually it's something where I'm just going to get the stats. So basically the spending power of disabled people worldwide is estimated at $13 trillion, which is increasing 14% per annum. And also there are 1.8 billion disabled people in the world, representing 17% of the population. And part of the reason why what they're looking to do with Purple Tuesday is actually just to raise awareness that actually for most organizations, it's not just a CSR thing to do. Actually, there's real commercial benefit to do that. Actually, it's a win-win. It's an absolute no-brainer. So one of the things that they do at Purple Tuesday is help raise awareness of this. I've been trying to do a lot as well. So obviously we employ various different people through the business and what we do, but also we've done a massive push on web accessibility that whilst we will be far from perfect to start with, we are trying to do our best. And the ways that we look to do that, accessibility for me includes both cost, that actually disabled families are often hardest hit through the cost of living increases. So again, with the completely free courses and that people can kind of get in touch, the time that people have, which is also really important. But then all the way through, when you look at accessibility, there's the technical stuff. So for instance, how do you get onto the website? Can you navigate the website with just a keyboard and not use a mouse? And there's lots of stuff like that, but also subtitles and transcripts and the ability to design for different line spacing and different things are things that we've really tried to do. And it is part of the mission that we want to grow and improve in the future. But actually it was just a good cause that I kind of wanted to kind of talk about. So I will give another plug again to the Purple Sock Day, which you can kind of see here. It's £6 a pair. The socks are fabulous. They're made out of bamboo. 50% of the profits go to really good causes. But actually it's the right thing to do. And if you want to get involved, the link is in the comments, and it'd be great if you either say hello or let me know if you buy some socks, or if you're local, I might send you some as well, just as a request to help kind of raise awareness and stuff as well. And part of that all builds up to the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which is the 3rd of December. And I just think it's really cool. So if you check it out, if you're interested in that, please kind of let me know. And yeah, cool. Okay, it's the first topic today. So one of the things that I love to do is talk to different people. It's part of the reason why I have a podcast. It's part of the reason why I've built the business the way I kind of do. But especially when you run your own business, it's very cool to be able to interact with and talk with and speak to and work with people from different backgrounds that you just want to work with and you think are quite cool. And this is really true, especially for solo founders and stuff, because actually I don't have to ask anyone else. And I know that if I worked in a job, there's always that element of, okay, so you want to go and do this and speak to this person, but how does that help the business? But that's part of the beauty of running your own business, is you can do what you want. So I was actually introduced to two fabulous people called Ali and Andrew. So Andrew runs the Parallel Lifestyles organization, which actually is in charge of Purple Sock Day. And actually we had a really good chat on Tuesday. Really great guy. It was just sharing about what we're looking to, how we're looking to work with and support different organizations and backgrounds. He was telling me about what they're looking to do and what they're looking to raise money for and how that will really kind of help. And we just had a really good conversation. That was fantastic. And we're actually speaking later on again today. But in conversation, it was something that Andrew said, and this is the beauty of, I guess, learning, was actually, he told me to, had I ever heard of someone called Sir Ken Robinson? And the truth is I hadn't. So I did some Google search, and basically when I went onto the internet, basically Sir Ken Robinson is a British guy who was a real expert in the field of education, went on to do some fabulous things, travel the world, became a Knight of the Realm in the UK, which is a big deal, but actually, looked at education a really different way. And his big thesis was about how the traditional education systems aren't actually built correctly. It's a cookie cutter approach where there's a standard system which they just shove everyone through, and it's largely based around STEM subjects, so science, technology, engineering, and maths. But they give everyone, or they force everyone through the same system, when actually the way to do it properly is to recognize different people's talents and actually, give them education and curriculum and guidance based on what they're actually good at and what they enjoy doing, not just the standard system. And what was really fascinating was that when I twigged the second I saw, he's done 3 TED Talks, but I watched the most recent one first, which was recorded in lockdown. And it was in the accent. And basically it turns out that Ken actually grew up about 2 or 3 miles from me. So he grew up next to the Everton FC football stadium in Liverpool. But what he essentially did was devote his life to helping to improve the world for different people, and actually really looking to grow and actually change education for the better. And what really kind of blew my mind is that what he was talking about was the personalization of education, and are there things that we can do to really help improve the conditions for people to almost thrive. And what really kind of struck me is that something we haven't announced yet, but we'll be launching early in the new year. We're looking to do that for business education. And although business education is largely adults and people post 16, it was just really fabulous to find someone that I didn't know existed, but that was from my hometown, that grew up from around the corner where I was, that devoted their life and passion to something. And actually, touch some wood, I'd love to kind of continue that journey. But what really kind of blew my mind was just the fact of how one conversation, one recommendation of someone that I'd never heard of to go on, learn. I've ordered his book, it hasn't arrived yet. But it changed my life, because actually I would love to emulate and almost, replicate a fraction of what he achieved in his life. But it's the fact that he grew up like 2 miles away from where I did. And actually the potential to really do something with that, just honestly, it blew my mind, because he could have been from anywhere in the world. He could have been from India, Japan, London, but he wasn't. He was from my hometown. And because what we're looking to do is making business education accessible, what we're essentially trying to do is that I know that he got the challenges that people, come from in working class, regular backgrounds. And that is different, and that's not your typical kind of academic route. So it was just a thank you to Andrew. I know we're going to speak later on. But actually, one conversation just blew my mind, and almost, you could say that what we do has nothing to do with each other, it's pure chance. Or you could look at the same thing with a bit of magic and serendipity and actually think, you know what, there's something special there, and I'd love to kind of continue his legacy. And unfortunately, he died, a few years ago during COVID. But actually, I just thought it was a really beautiful story. So it was just something I wanted to share, but actually how one conversation completely out the blue can really kind of change the course of your life, because actually it just, for me, gave me added value and drive to really help do something in a way that actually I didn't even know this guy existed. And because of that, it's always good to talk. It's always good to take recommendations, and just, if someone says, oh, have you heard of this guy? If you can, just check them out, and you never know where it might take you. Okay, next. So how has everyone's week been? I must admit, it's been a long week. I actually am getting better with almost taking some time off and looking after myself. I'm famous for pushing myself maybe a little bit too hard, but actually I am trying to get better and improve as well. So, never feel guilty about actually taking time for yourself and actually just looking after yourself and being consistent, because it's so much better to be consistently good for 10, 20 years than it is to work mega hard for 2 months and then burn out. And actually I felt burnout, was it at the end of last year? And I know what it's like, that when you get to the point where you've run out of energy and it's tough and it's really hard to kind of build back from. So actually, if you can take your time and take care of yourself, it will actually help you in the long run. But actually I've been there and I'm trying to get better and learn from that as well. Okay, next. So one of the big things that I'm going to talk about is one of the things that I pride myself on is that my day job is as a management consultant. So basically people hire me to grow and turn around their businesses. But the point is, people actually hire me to actually do stuff, not just tell them what they should do. It's a metaphor, but I've rolled up my sleeves for years and actually I like to get involved. But the thing is, when I do that, my hope is that because I do practice all these things all day, every day, I get better at them so that when I can help teach other people, they know that I don't just spout someone else's theory, I actually do it. And because I get paid by the hour sometimes to actually do this stuff, I have to be good at it, because that's what pays for everything, that's what pays for my wages. So one of the big things that I wanted to talk about is basically with business development and sales, especially on the internet nowadays, what you're looking to do is build a relationship with people, with your audience, so that you can build trust, respect, authority, and expertise over time in a way that when you then share your product or service or offering, the people actually consider it. For one, they have an awareness of it, but they consider it, and actually they recognize that it can be useful to them in a way that you can help them achieve their goal. One of the big things with business development and sales is how essentially you ideally want 8+ touch points that people often almost never buy off one interaction. But as you get to kind of 5, 8, 10, 12, what you hopefully do by that point is actually build trust, build awareness, build brand recognition, and actually just, the relationship that people can then choose to buy your products or not. And one of the and one of the places that I often start when doing that is on the internet. So if I was recently given a list of 60 different financial related firms from a client that they wanted to target. So the first thing that I do, I go on the internet and research them and look at what they're up to, and basically say hello, but actually understand where do they fit and what things could be potentially relevant to them. But one of the big things that whenever you do sales and business development, when you want to make a first approach and maybe send some stuff, is find their email. And finding people's emails on the internet is a skill, it's an art in itself. So I wanted to do a really quick segment just to talk about it, because actually if you don't know where to start, it's tough. So actually the first thing you want to do is research. So for your sales prospecting, which is what this is called, so when we reach out to people for the first time, the first thing you want to do is research them. What is the company? What does it do? Who works there? And ideally, you always want to aim and say hello as high up the chain as you can, as a way to kind of start at the top. It just makes sense. It's so much easier and better for the boss to say to their subordinates, actually, this guy got in touch. Is this useful? Than the other way around, because people always think the boss will say no. So if you can, always start at the top. So basically, who are the company, what do they do, and who's the boss, who is the decision maker, and if you can, find a name. Then when you're looking to basically write the email, always think about what is it that you can share which is actually relevant to them. What is the topic that they're actually interested in? Nobody wants just a generic splurge of crap thrown into their inbox, because actually they'll ignore it. So what you want to do is reach out, but make it relevant to them. You want to demonstrate that you have knowledge and expertise on the topic, but actually that you have something that they might want. One of the top tips that I got probably about 10 years ago is you never want to show your best hand straight away. So what you want to do is get the other person interested, but essentially you want a next step. You want a call to action. You want to set up a call with them just for further relationship kind of building. Because if you can get someone on a call, you can ask them more questions, you can qualify them, you can understand what their drivers are, what their, why they might want to work with you before you give an offer. So often it's really important to say, look, I've got something I would like to share with you. Hopefully these are options which you might find interesting. If it's not for you, that's absolutely fine. But the point is you want to be friendly and approachable, but not pushy. You never want to kind of go past that point. And then likewise, with the email, keep it nice and short. If it's too long, people won't read it. Make it relevant. Ideally have a call to action, which is either to set up next steps for a phone call or a link that you can send them to, or whichever. But in terms of the actual email, this is the hard bit. So I'm going to talk about how I do it, how you can do it, and actually I'd love to know if you get involved in the comments or whichever, just your own personal techniques. So research, the first one is the name. So you want to look for the name of the boss or the decision maker. And what I tend to do is go onto the About Us or the team page and basically just go to the most senior person you can in the organization. So say his name is Phil Smith, to kind of keep this simple. Chances are, if you wanted to send Phil Smith an email, on some websites, and especially if it's a smaller business, they often will give you the email address, which is fantastic. In which case, job done. So take your really nice, snappy email with a nice header, nice and simple, nice and friendly, and send it to Phil Smith and you're sorted. But often it's not that simple. So you might have the name, and you also know the name of the company and the company's web address, because the web address is easy to find. So the next thing that you want to do is go into Google and what you want to do, if the guy's name is Phil Smith, use the speech marks, because what that does is that if you search on Google with the speech marks, it searches for the exact term on the internet to see if it pops up anywhere, rather than just close matches. So you then want to search for Phil Smith and then the company web address. So if it was me, it'd be Steve Pugh and then or it'd be Steve Pugh and then roadmapmba.com. And if you were clever, you would do steve.pugh at roadmapmba.com, because obviously email addresses always have the at, then the web URL. So the web URL is quite easy to find. You know it's going to have the at, because basically that's what all email addresses do. And the trick is then to find the person's name and surname to basically then approach them. So this is where the trick is, and I have 6 different versions of web addresses that actually, things to look at when you're looking to do business sales email. So the most common one is first name dot second name at. So this would always be my go-to thing. So it'd be phil.smith at whatever the web URL is. That's the first one. Try that, and if it bounces and comes back, it didn't work. If it did work, fantastic. And the way to always check it is before you send it, put the full email address into Google with the speech marks. And sometimes what happens is it'll show up. So basically it'll either show you, yes, that's a real email address because actually they used it to register at a conference once and you can find that. Or if you can find someone else in the same organization's email, so it's janet.smith, you know that if it's janet.smith, chances are that phil.smith will also work. But the point is, it's really useful to see other people's email addresses, even if it's not the person that you're looking to target. So if you check it on Google and either nothing comes up or you just think, sod it, I'm just going to try it, send an email, see what happens. If it bounces or if it doesn't work, especially in smaller companies, just try first name at then the URL. So for me, it might be steve at roadmapmba.com. Generally in smaller businesses, probably with less than 20 people, the founders almost always have first name at, because actually when they first set up, that's all they needed. So actually then try that one next. And then next we have 1, 2, 3 different options, which are all different things to try. But the point is, the more experience that you get in business development and sales, you just learn to do these. And especially if the first one bounces, you know to try it. So the next one is down to initials. So it would be first initial dot second initial at. Try that, see if that works. Then you can also do FS. So the initials without the dot in the middle. And then actually, first initial dot surname, so that'd be s.pugh@roadmapmba.com. But the point is, whenever you're looking to do proactive business development and sales, being able to get people's email addresses is mega valuable. Being able to actually start that conversation, if you can write a good email and get a good hook and start that conversation, it's worth doing. But actually there's a real skill in doing your research, doing your homework to look at different organizations, because every organization actually has a different email setup. Then actually it's really important to do your homework, do some research, find different organizations, and actually just use this as an opener to reach out to people and just see where it leads. What's really interesting is that occasionally you will send emails and sometimes they will bounce, but often if you then just go back and try the other ones, you will find one that works. If it doesn't bounce back, chances are it worked. But also if you get an out of office reply, you definitely know it worked. And it's just that process of actually, it's how friendly, it was a way to find people's contact details, reach out if you believe you have something of value. And then actually this is part of the process of business development and sales. But one of the top things which I wanted to highlight, which is new, and you never used to be able to do this, is that on Outlook, which is the Microsoft platform that I use to do email, nowadays, if you put in someone's email address, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, it either comes up with a little green circle, and this is before you've even sent the email, and that basically tells you that not only is that person the email address correct, I think it's actually wrong, but it also tells you that they're available, that on Microsoft products you can also set that circle to red if you're busy. And the idea is, I think it's a Teams thing, that you know not to interrupt someone when they're busy or whichever. But the point is the green light is literally giving you a green light to say that you've got the contact details correct. This will go to the person. And that's a dream for sales and business development professionals, because actually it just shows you that the person does exist on the other end. And that's a major step forward that you never ever used to be able to do. Then for any sales or BD professional, you want to reach out once, see if they get back in touch. Then it's up to you on how you approach this, but then it would be a second contact point. For me, that would be a phone call or another email or a reach out on LinkedIn. I think phone call is probably best, because the idea is you can ask, hi, Phil Smith, just wanted to ask if you got my email last week. There's this thing that we think might be of interest. If you'd like to have a chat, please let me know. Voicemail is always great for that. And then likewise, you can also use tools such as voice notes on LinkedIn, just as a way to, you come across as a real person. We talk on the course about all the different tools and things that you can use to communicate to your best possible ability to build relationships with people. But the idea is it's that constant touch point. And then actually you want to look for 5 to 8 different interactions to really know if that relationship is going to go anywhere in terms of your business development and sales. But the thing on email, if you've never done it before or you're new to sales and you're looking to just research clients, check it out, do your research, search on Google, look for other email addresses that are from people in the same organization, see if that's relevant to you. Then actually just do some tests. There's no problem if you email someone and it bounces back, because they didn't get it either. But what you're doing is learning to see what works, what doesn't work. And that's part of the game with business development and sales. If you catch this up on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions about business development and sales, entrepreneurship, running a business, etc., please kind of feel free to reach out. At 9:09, because I started early, I think I'm going to call it quits on that one. It's Friday. It's been a long week. We're getting near winter. Have you got your winter coat ready? I'm actually looking forward to some time off this week. I've been trying to push things quite a lot with the new website and stuff which have gone live. We'll go properly public with that soon. Genuinely, if you want to reach out and get a free copy of the course, I've got one going to India today please feel free to reach out and just kind of say hello. And then likewise, if you don't want to do that, if you go to roadmapmba.com, if you check that out, but actually under pricing, we have a completely free tier. Basically what that does is when you log in, it tracks your progress. So it'll say, hi Steve, when you log in. And then we have 16 different modules, all super short and easy. But the idea is that you can actually click through them and it tracks your own progress. So you know what you've covered, what you haven't. And that's it. There's no ads, there's no subscriptions, no renew anything, there's no nasties. But it's just part of our longer term kind of mission. So I'm just going to check my notes. So I've done that, I've done that one, I've done that one, I've done that one. Cool. Well, at 9:10 on a Friday, the 4th of November, I'm going to call it quits on this one. I think I need a rest, is the honest truth. Have a wonderful Friday. Thank you if you joined the stream on any of the channels. And if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. All right, cheers guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.